So for as long as I've been building software, I have used Homebrew to manage dependencies. And last year, I tried something new by installing Nix and went down that gigantic rabbit hole of Nix and Flakes and Home Manager and all the weird ways in which they connect to a Mac system. And I ended up with this kind of Frankenstein situation that I didn't understand, wasn't particularly idiomatic Nix, and I was just afraid to touch, and I just didn't enjoy touching it because I had to like commit it and then rebuild my system. It felt like there was a lot of to do for like me just adding dependencies, and I really hated that. I hated not having like a flexible machine that felt like my own. But this year I want to give Nix another try, but in a very isolated way, not trying to have it manage everything, not trying to have it integrate with everything, but just using it for the package management side of things. So replacing Homebrew. So we're going to be starting from scratch. I'm actually going to like literally just do like a Google search, see what comes up for starting with NixOS. Nix Package Manager on Mac. Yeah, I've been eyeballing this one from Nix Academy. This showed up on my phone. And so I think this may be a good place to start. So why would you have Nix on a Mac? This is a pretty good question. Nix Packages is the biggest and freshest open source package repository in the world. It's better than Homebrew. I hate statements like this, just objectively. I mean, I guess I imagine that they'll probably flesh this out, but use the same package manager, package versions as your colleagues who use Nix, Ubuntu. Yeah, so this is something that I'm kind of excited about as I have gone into multiple systems. So, last year I bought a PC. I've been using a March Linux. The idea of being able to share anything between these two setups would be very, very nice. Programmers and admins, the toolchain management is easily done per project with a single command, nix develop. Forget the Docker annoyances for development. In addition to that, we're looking at nix-darwin in this article, which adds the following reasons on top. Declarative configuration of all your macOS system settings. Now, this I'm not particularly looking at. We'll probably skip that today. Sometimes it can be nice, but I had a hell of a time with all of the like configuration stuff in Nix. Installation of packages and configuration of them, okay. Seamless integration into LaunchD for configuration of additional daemons. Is that daemons? Daemons? How do you pronounce that? Painless management of local Linux builder VMs. Okay, this article is about 2 steps and providing additional info into each. Install Nix and bootstrap nix-darwin. There are multiple ways to install NixOS. Possibly most obvious way, at least on GNU Linux, is to use another package manager to install Nix. Generally, don't do that. Heard. Especially on macOS, 3 different ways work well. So there's the official Nix installer from nixos.org, the Determinate Systems Nix installer for the shell, and the Determinant Systems graphical installer for NixOS. The Determinate System installers have a few advantages over the original Nix installer. Provides a nicer overview of the installation setup. It is designed to survive macOS upgrades. Nix flakes are enabled by default, and the installation and configuration can be customized. The graphical installer has 2 additional perks. It can be used in combination with the mobile device management solution, MDM. That actually may be something that I need to look into. I'm not sure because this is a work machine. And the installer is signed with Determinate Systems Apple Developer ID. So I might go this route. Why not? Okay, cool, perfect. So I choose the Determinate Systems shell installer, which is a 1 line as described in the GitHub repository, spread over multiple lines here to increase readability. Okay, so HTTPS, TLS 1.2. I don't know curl well enough to know exactly what these do, but this is like common install, like copy, trust me, bro, install. If you want to proceed with nix-darwin after installing Nix, please be prepared to answer the no question when the Determinate installer asks you to install Determinate Nix. Interesting. As of today, Determinate Nix does not work well in combination with nix-darwin. For information, please refer to Nix README. That's unfortunate. The installation just takes a few minutes or two after running the command, and the installer asks, okay, cool. So let's, I'm not afraid of the command line, but that note about MDN or MDM caught my attention as something that we may have trouble with on this specific machine. So let's try the graphical installer, see what's up. All right, you'll be guided through the steps necessary to install Determinate Nix. Nix will be configured with flakes, macOS upgrade resilience, wonderful, and an uninstaller. Now that's really nice because the last time I installed this, I was so nervous to try and uninstall it that I actually just pinged our IT admin and said, can you just remote nuke my machine? And, they've never pressed that button before, and we got a chance to experience that together. And it was really kind of odd to have my machine working and then just like waiting, and then all of a sudden it's just screen turns black and it's a fresh Mac. Kind of wild. Okay, install was successful. Great. Okay, so I get a link to start your Nix learning journey at 0 to Nix. Okay, what's next? Collaborative team. Okay, cool. Close. Yes, move it to the trash. I should get the sound effects plugged in now that I have a separate machine. So I don't have to do them with my stupid face. Okay, it's advisable to check if there have been any errors during the installation, and if there are none, close the shell and start a new one. We don't need to restart the system. Okay, so I don't have any special terminal app. We're just gonna be doing this right here. Nix run. Nix. Oh my gosh, Nix. Honestly, I've gotten so bad at typing since I program with my voice now. It is not like a bicycle. You get really bad really fast. Nix packages pound hello. Now, my understanding going into this is that we can kind of on demand download packages from the Nix package registry and run them. And that's what it's doing. Nix run, and then we say Nix packages, which I guess is a shortcut for that repository. And then the hello package that will download, yes, hashing, copying, all kinds of stuff. And then it runs a package. Killer. This is super easy so far. Okay, awesome. Great. Okay, step 2. Going declarative with nix-darwin. With Nix installed, we have all the Nix shell magic using Nix develop, Nix shell at our disposal, and can build and run using Nix build and Nix run. Random projects, packages from the internet, which is great. There's a lot of parenthetical statements in this. But basically, we can run random packages from the internet. Wonderful. That's something I've always wanted to do. However, if you imagine having to install packages using Nix profile install on every other Mac, we're not better off than with classical package management. My understanding is that Nix profile install actually installs this like on installs a global package. So whereas we're like downloading this in real time, this installs a global package that would be available on my system. Also, this doesn't manage our configuration and services, which is exactly what we're used to from NixOS. So I think this would be like databases, things that would like run in the background, configuration, which I'm less concerned about here. The general idea is that you want to have one big configuration file, possibly scattered over multiple files for better structure and composability, that sets our system up with one single command. This is where nix-darwin enters the scene. As the project description says, this project aims to bring the convenience of a declarative system approach to macOS. Now, I want to set the stakes again. My goal is to have ephemeral environments that I can spin up. We already have that. We've seen that we can do that. But also to use this to install the packages that I need to kind of operate from day to day. Starting from 0, we can initiate a new nix-darwin configuration file in some configuration folder. Make dir nix-darwin config, cd nix-darwin config, cronfig, nix flake init t nix-darwin. All right, wrote. Users chan nix-darwin config /flake nix. This creates a flake.nix file like this. Okay, so we have a description, example, Darwin system flake. Inputs, this is the Nix repository where all those packages are, presumably. The URL, and let's see, packages follows, no idea. All right, we get the idea. We have a file here and it does some stuff. And it has some places that we can add some packages that we want to make available globally. At the beginning, we generally want to change two things here. The Nix packages host platform settings must be Arch 64 Darwin. I'm gonna copy that. On Macs and Apple Silicon CPUs, on Intel based, don't care about that. Number two, the simple part at the bottom of the file on the Darwin configuration .simple in quotes attribute can be renamed to our host name. This way, we don't need to provide the name exactly when building or rebuilding the system and configuration. This is enough to start. Bootstrapping this new configuration can be done even without installing any of the Nix-darwin related packages with a single command. Vim flake, okay, host platform. Okay, great. So that is correct. And then let's see, build simple. Now it says that we want to use the host name. What is the host name? Okay, so open up T3 chat. Okay, I'm installing Nix Package Manager on Mac. I'm configuring my flake.nix file. What should the host name be and where can I get it? Okay, in this context, nix-darwin host name. Okay, so it gives us a command which we can run and see what we get. Okay. So I think we're going to change this to my current host name, go back and run this command. All right, nix run nix-darwin -switch -flake dot. All right, doing a lot of downloading. Many megabytes were downloaded. We get an error. System activation must now be run as root. We can run that again with sudo in front of it. See if I can remember my long ass password. All right, success. Okay. Determinant uses its own daemon to manage the Nix installation that conflicts with the Nix-darwin's native NixOS management. To turn off Nix-darwin's management of the Nix installation, set nix.enable to false. This will allow you to use Nix-darwin with determinate, some Nix-darwin functionality that relies on managing the Nix installation, like the Nix options to adjust Nix settings or configure Linux builder will be available. Okay, so again, back to AI. Let's see. All right, so I'm just giving it all of the output and asking if it was unnecessary to run, given that we have the determinate installer. So no, the error isn't saying that the installer was unnecessary. It's saying that Determinate Systems and Nix-darwin are currently fighting over who gets control of your Nix system. The Determinate Systems installer is excellent. It handles heavy lifting of the initial install, but it expects to manage its own configuration. By default, Nix-darwin tries to take over those settings and causes this conflict. You need to tell Nix-darwin to stay away from the Nix daemon settings, update your configuration Nix or wherever your Darwin system modules point with this line. Why this is actually good. Stable. Determinate Systems use a Rust-based installer that is more robust for macOS updates. Settings. Nix enable false prevents Nix-darwin from accidentally breaking the specialized setup the installer created. Packages still work. You can still manage your system packages, fonts, and macOS preferences via the flake. You just won't use Nix-darwin to change Nix's internal settings like max jobs and substitutors. Once you save the changes, run the command again. Okay, with these changes be saved into my flake file or somewhere else. The changes you make to Nix enable equal false are saved directly into your flake file, specifically the configuration Nix or flake.nix. Okay, cool. So Nix enable false. We need to make sure that we have that line inside of our, actually, I think it goes further. Yeah, so this is our nix-darwin config. So let's add that. Turn off nix-darwin's management of the Nix installation, set Nix enable to false. Okay, so it should be parallel to the system state version. So somewhere, yeah, okay, configuration packages, somewhere in this object. Okay, so we're gonna add this line and we're gonna ensure that Determinate Systems manages installations and updates. All right, then let's run that one more time. I think it's something wrong. Right, syntax error, unexpected equals. So maybe I accidentally removed a semicolon. Oh, I didn't add a semicolon. Yeah, there we go, cool. All right, fixed. Okay, the following files have unrecognized content and would be overwritten. Our etc.zsh env. Now, is this one that they mentioned in the blog post? Yes. All right, so they warned us about this, no problem. Let's cat that and see what's in it currently. Shouldn't be much, I haven't done much. Okay, so this was added by our Nix installer. I'm gonna copy that file into my user path. Did the RC and I want the env. My bad. All right, so let's back up that env and then let's run it again. And we'll want to rm that etc zsh env and run again. I think we're good. Applying patches. Okay, cool. Perfect. So what were the commands that it said? It said nix-darwin is now bootstrapped on our system, which gives us access to Darwin rebuild. Had to open up a new fresh terminal to get that, but we do have it. So we can run, and actually let's do this in our root to make sure that we have access. So Darwin rebuild. Okay, so we can run that from anywhere theoretically. Darwin rebuild switch flake dot. Okay, system. So this must be run as sudo password. I'm gonna get really good at that password. Okay, so we need to go back and run it from that directory. Okay, so it must be run in the directory with the flake file, or I think I'm using that dot path. I think I could provide a path to that file if I wanted to. Okay, cool. So we have a Darwin rebuild running, so we can rebuild our system. Great. Okay, additional Nix-darwin goodies. The new Nix-darwin config did not do much to our system. It's just a starting point. What now? Have a look at the Nix-darwin configuration options documentation, which lists and describes all of the available options. The overview is a goldmine. There is something for everyone. Let's have a look at a few nice examples. So, unlock sudo via fingerprint. If you have a Mac with Touch ID, I do in fact have a Mac with Touch ID, and I would love not to type this password. You can unlock sudo commands with our fingerprint instead of typing the password. This is of course not exclusive to Nix-darwin users, but these have it particularly easy to enable it. Simply add the following line to the new config. Okay, perfect. So we'll vim the flake.nix file. Ooh, highlighting now. I'm not sure how that happened, but it happened. Okay. I assume this is like a top level. No, it's going to be in config. Config. So now let's try to run our Darwin rebuild command. That's definitely still asking for a password, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because, you know, we haven't actually like rebuilt it yet. So maybe we need to enable it, build it the old way, and then try it again. Okay, we're gonna close all these. All right, now let's try running rebuild. Ho! Touch ID, baby. Let's go. Awesome. I'm pretty stoked right now, actually. This is way better than the setup I had previously. It was pretty hairy. Okay, so rebuild and apply the config using, okay, we did that. Generally, reboots aren't necessary, but the specific setting needs a reboot. I should have just read this, but I don't know. I was so delighted that it worked. I guess being surprised sometimes is kind of fun. Voila. This is how it looks in action. We got that. We got it. It's great. Okay, setting system defaults. So nix-darwin provides configuration lines for many different macOS default settings. These can typically be altered using UI applications, setting dialogues, or with the defaults terminal command. However, nix-darwin manages them all for us. Okay, so doc auto hide true. There's a lot of like examples of Apple show extensions true. Cool. Apple Silicon Macs compile Intel binaries. Now, Apple Silicon Macs can install Rosetta, which enables the system to run binaries for Intel CPUs transparently. The installation still needs to be done manually in the terminal with this command. Okay, sure, why not? Let's run it while we're here. Install of Rosetta 2 finished successfully. After that, you can add this line to our nix-darwin configuration and rebuild again. Okay, so it looks like we're now allowing the installation of x86 applications, which is cool. I don't know, let's put it here. Rebuild. There's a lot of the rebuilding with Nix. Hey, password. It's weird that it doesn't focus this window. I don't know if I'm doing something weird to do that, but it's not focusing the password thing, which is a little inconvenient. Okay, now you can build and run binaries for both CPUs. So nix run. You know what? What the hell? Let's try it. Let's just, it's important to validate the things that we've done. So this is running the ARM architecture version of this. And fingers crossed, we can also run the x86 version of this. Cool, it worked. I accidentally copied the hello world part, but it worked anyway. Okay, so this is a relatively, it says like developer specific use case, totally understood, but it's nice to have set up. I don't have to think about it anymore. Building Linux binaries. If you want to build binaries or even full system images from GNU Linux systems, we typically end up delegating builds to remote builders. Nix-darwin provides a neat Linux builder that runs a NixOS VM as a service in the background. It can simply be activated with one additional configuration line. I want to read a little bit more to see if this is something that we want. It works on both Apple Silicon and Intel Macs. The VM itself is bootstrapped by downloading it from the official NixOS cache. It comes with pre-installed SSH keys, which Nix-darwin also handles elegantly for us on the host side. After building the system, we can test it. With a quick dummy derivation that simply writes the output of the command uname-a into its output path, you can check that it is executed, in fact, on our new Linux builder. Okay, how does it work? I'm not totally sure that this is something that I need because I don't fully understand what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah, so I'm going to pass on that for now, but maybe in the future I might need to learn more about it. So updating systems. Updating the system involves two steps: updating Nix flakes inputs and rebuilding the system. So Nix flake update. Let's run those commands. Obviously, we don't have anything to update right now since we just installed our system. Unless someone's super active, maybe there was something. And then we're going to Darwin rebuild switch flake dot. Got to run that to sudo. Okay, cool. So we got updates. If the configuration resides in a Git repository, Nix flake update -- commit lock file can automatically commit the lock file changes. Nice to know. Conclusion. Some Apple fans might like setting up a new system each time, but most of us want things to be simple and in sync. Ain't that the truth? That's why I'm doing this today. Nix in combination with nix-darwin is an unbeatable combination on a new Mac and can simply perform 2 steps. Run nix-darwin, switch, etc. my config, and we're done from the Finder. Okay, cool. So that's really nice. I can set this up, put this on my GitHub, and run it remotely, which is crazy nice. Maybe we'll do that in a follow-up video. From the Finder, etc., UI settings, over pre-install packages to additional daemons, it's all there. If you have questions on how Nix fits into your corporate workflow or how to make it work for you to make teams even more productive, don't hesitate to reach out to us via email or schedule a quick call. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks, Jakek. Thanks for doing this. This was a great tutorial. We got all the way set up. This is on nixacademy.com. Yeah, super great post. No surprises. All the bases were covered, and really impressive call outs too, because a lot of times there can be a lot of confusion in the errors, and there was a lot of those errors like called out right beforehand, like this guy with the incompatible file, or the file that already exists. So where can we go from here? Now I want to find first a tool that I might use. So wget was an example of a tool that we would want to install on our system. It is not currently available, so let's vim our flake file, and we have packages. Now I need to figure out how to incorporate packages. Let's start by going to Nix Package Manager. NixOS. I feel like there's like a specific like Nix packages. Okay, search the package repository. So we want to install wget. Okay, wget. What do we got? What do we got with wget? So if we click on wget, it should theoretically give us install instructions. Okay, Nix shell, NixOS configuration, and nix-env. Now, even though we're not using NixOS, I think we are going to use the NixOS configuration because we're using a flake NixOS configuration file. So I'm going to go packages wget and see if that works for us. Oh, that's why the Vim thing worked. I didn't realize this. So it installed the Vim package. I just completely overlooked that. I saw the packages thing here. I thought that was boilerplate, but no, installed a Vim package. Great. Okay, cool. Okay, so we know that this already works to some extent. Now, what is the syntax here for multiple lines? I'm just going to ask it right here. Do arrays lists require commas or just new lines? Show me an example with packages. Packages. Okay, so for packages, okay, just new lines, it looks like. So right now we have packages vim and packages wget. Let's save that file, run our rebuild command with sudo. Now I think it was saying that it doesn't necessarily need restarts. I'm not sure if that includes when we add new packages, but let's give that a try. Which wget. Awesome. So we don't have to restart our shell or our session in order to get access to those new packages. Very cool. All right, now I did say that I was going to get Claude. I was going to try and install Claude code. All right, let's use this to look for Claude and see what happens here. Agentic coding experience, Claude code. We can add that to our Nix environment, packages Claude code. Okay, vim flake.nix. Let us add. Okay, rebuilds. Okay, we did run into a little bit of a problem. What we got going on here? Okay, package error. Package Claude code 2.1.2 has an unfree license, refusing to evaluate. To temporarily allow unfree packages, you can use environment variables. For a single invocation of the Nix tools, export packages allow unfree one. Note, when using Nix shell, Nix build, or Nix develop, etc. with a flake, then pass impure in order to allow use of the environment variables. For NixOS rebuild, you can set packages config allow unfree true. Okay. In configuration.nix to override this. Alternatively, you can configure a predicate to allow specific packages, allow unfree predicate equal packages built in Claude code. Okay, so we can enable specific packages. Okay, got it. This seems like the ideal approach for me. I'm a little bit nervous about trying to find the right place to put this. I'm gonna let AI do it because that's what it's good at. It's good at this stuff. Just let it do what it's good at. Okay, so allow specific unfree packages. Okay, cool. So I think it just kind of gave us the same information, but it does look like it kind of put it in this block with packages lib. So, yeah, I think it's right here. Okay, let's try that again. See what happens. Okay, that was definitely not it. Undefined lib. So we need to take lib. All right, it looks like we have success. Let's see if it actually worked. So which Claude? Okay, so now we have access to Claude. Confirmed. Let's try firing it up. Ha! Yes, we did it. We did it. We'll set it up and then we'll wrap up. It's been long enough. To change this later, run /theme. Okay, so interesting. There's not a system theme. Cool. Okay, whatever. We'll just go dark. Claude Code can be used with your Claude subscription or build based on API usage through your console account. Please select the method. I have a console account. I'm just logging in, doing the whole OAuth thing. Yeah, okay, so we got something. I got logged in. And now, let's see, logged into Michael Chan at workos.com. Login successful. Please press enter to continue. Claude can make mistakes. Okay, awesome. For the optimal coding experience, enable the recommended settings for your terminal. Option enter for new line and visual bell. So yes, use recommended settings. No, maybe later with terminal setup. Option enter is a weird one. Is that right? Maybe that's what I use. I thought it was shift enter. Whatever, we'll use the recommended settings. I like going with recommended settings, see how it feels. Do you trust the files in this folder? Okay, cool, yes. Awesome, that's cool. Okay, so I'm in Claude now. Describe my current Nix setup. Okay, because we're in that nix-darwin config. That's the project that we're in right now. Like I'm 5. Imagine your Mac computer is like a toy box. I hate this already. What Nix does. Nix is like a magic instruction book that tells your computer exactly which toys programs to put into the box and how to arrange them. If you follow the same instructions again, you can get exactly the same toy box every time. That's a dumb metaphor. Your setup has 3 toys in the box. Vim, a tool for writing and editing text. wget, a tool for downloading things from the internet. Claude Code, that's me, a helper for writing code. A special superpower. You can use your fingerprint Touch ID instead of typing passwords when you do important computer tasks. It's like unlocking a treasure chest with your finger. Is it? Is that what it's like? I'm gonna say that all the time now. It's like unlocking a treasure chest with your finger. Any finger? Doesn't matter. The instruction book sources. Yeah, your computer gets the toy instructions from a big online library called Nix Packages. Think of it like a giant toy catalog. It uses nix-darwin, which are special instructions just for Mac computers. Your computer type. It knows you have Apple Silicon Mac, the newer kind with Apple's own chip. That's it. When you want to change what's in your toy box, you just update the instructions book and tell your computer to rebuild the toy box. Everything is organized and repeatable. Okay, I did ask it to explain like I'm 5, and fair enough. It did what I asked. Okay, so that's gonna wrap it up for me today. My goal was just to get Nix Package Manager set up with nix-darwin on my Mac, and I think that we did that beautifully. The instructions that we got from Nix Academy were really fantastic. That is maybe the best onboarding writing I've seen. Really great Loved every second of it. We got our packages installed. We have a rebuild command. I might alias that so that I can do that from any path by adding an alias that actually includes the path inside of the command. That would be an improvement, and I can just kind of like add some stuff, rebuild, and be on my merry way. Something that I would like to look into in the future is how to set up Nix shells. So if I know that I'm going to be setting up an environment regularly, how do I set up a Nix shell for that? You know, maybe we'll cover all of that in another time, but you know, for me, this is long enough. Probably time to start making dinner. That's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If I figure this stuff out and I can, you know, really, I feel like reducing it down to a small set of things, I might make a little video course that you can, you know, click or, you know, buy or whatever. I don't know. If I end up doing that, I'll put a link somewhere to it that makes it available to you. But hopefully, you know, we edited this down and it came out great. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much for learning with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.